Welcome everyone once again to this new edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. We're starting off this week with very exciting news from Penn State University Press, Sorcery or Science, contesting knowledge and practice in West African Sufi texts. Now, a couple of weeks ago I made this video on the different traditions and giving you ideas on what books to get into if you're getting started in this, that or the other tradition. And when it came to Muslim texts on magic, I didn't really have very much to offer you. However, of course, last week I was able to show you in the esoteric news, I was able to show you the upcoming Shams al-Ma'arif from Revelor Press, which is very exciting. This week we've got this Sorcery or Science. Ariella Marcus Sells is exploring these two Sufi scholars, Mukhtar al-Kunti and Muhammad al-Kunti, and they were apparently hugely influential in the directions that Sufism was able to take. And I really like what I'm seeing here. Reveals how these theologians developed a set of practices that depended on knowledge of this unseen world and that allowed practitioners to manipulate the visible and invisible realms. That sounds right up my street, and very, very excited to see this. So it's already out. You can see that as always with the Penn State University Press hardcover editions, it may be a little bit, a little bit on the expensive side, but it is also available as an ebook, and that is definitely, really very, very exciting stuff. Right, moving on to news from Fulgur Press. They're putting the finishing touches on the design for Osman Spare's Psychopatia Sexualis. Now, this apparently is going to be released in conjunction with the first ever show of just exclusively dedicated to Osman Spare's work in America. So this is the first time that such a show is going to be put on in America. And it looks like this load of previously unseen artwork is going to be made available through this book. Very, very excited about this. So we're looking at 19th of March for the beginning of the exhibition. Yes, hopefully round about that time will be more or less the time when we'll see that new edition. Fulgur Press's books are always incredibly cool, and becoming quite interested actually in Osman Spare and his ideas, his approach to magic, and so on and so forth. Definitely one to look into. All right, moving on to the torture and death of St. Cyprian and St. Justina. So this is a translation of an account of the martyrdom of St. Cyprian and St. Justina. So this is a late medieval Latin account. Frater or Father, I'm afraid I don't know, Robert Nixon is translating this, and I can imagine that many people will be very excited about this. St. Cyprian is quite central to many people's occult practice. So having a direct account of his death, as well as Saint Justina, who is described here as being a quasi-mythical, Platonic familiar spirit to Cyprian by the time the document was written. So yeah, all of that sounds very, very nice. Of course, this is one of the guides to the underworld, right, from Hadean Press, and as such is priced very low, as they all are, right? These guides to the underworld, they're the little pamphlets, usually around the 30 to 40 page mark, and yeah, I'm sure this will be a very exciting read. Moving on to a new edition of the Book of Lies available now in Poland, and Richard Kaczynski is writing the introduction. I'm sure that any Thelemites currently living in Poland will be very pleased to know that this Book of Lies, this Księga, Kłamstw, is going to be available in this third edition. It looks quite pretty. Yeah, it would be nice to have such a lovely edition in English, I guess. Anyway, very, very, very cool stuff, and yeah, nice to see that little introduction by Richard Kaczynski right there. Good stuff. Moving on to news from Theon Publishing. It seems that they will be doing a new edition of the Vodou Quantum Leap. From Reginald, the late Reginald Crossley. So that's exciting news as well, expected this summer. Really looking forward to some more news about that. I know that many people know that David Beth has a personal voodoo practice that is the main current that he subscribes to, and yeah, this Vodou Quantum Leap has been a very well respected book, and to know that it'll get one of these lovely Theon Publishing new editions is fantastic news. Right, next we've got news from Miskatonic Books. We've got 100 new prints of Gateways Through Light and Shadow. At the time that they released this second edition a couple of months back, it was in December, I think it was, they said that there would be a further release of about 100 books, and they are now available. Anyone who missed the release back in December can currently get their hands on the Gateways Through Light and Shadow. You can check out my review of it. I was very, very impressed with this book. It's very... it's really meaty and really nice to read the direct accounts of these practitioners, the processes of setting up their experiments, and then the direct results of their experiments with these spirits, using Trithemius's method of calling spirits into crystals. Very, very interesting material to read. Thoroughly recommend that. And of course, Azoth Press is the imprint of Miskatonic Books, so you can get it directly through Miskatonic Books at $69 right there. All right, moving on to news from Anathema Publishing, and it seems like you know the way Iao is coming out very, very soon. Everyone's really waiting for that. I certainly know that I am. It's like my number one most anticipated book, and it's looking like the... to be honest, I don't know if it's a centerpiece, but it's certainly a very beautiful, large piece of artwork by José Gabriel Alegría Sabogal, representing the Ouroboros and everything within the universe, basically, from a Gnostic perspective. Oh, my goodness, it just looks so beautiful. And it is, in fact, possible to I beg your pardon, it will be possible to purchase it in just a really nice thick paper, 24 inches by 24 inches. That's a nice large format. For framing, what else will you do, right? With a beautiful thing like this. So yeah, that's really, really lovely news. If anyone is interested, the recommendation is to email them directly, anathemapublishing@yahoo.ca, and let them know that you are interested. And that way they'll be able to get in touch with you directly at the time when these are actually printed. I guess it gives them an idea also of how many to print, right? Which is only fair. So if you want a chance of actually getting hold of one of these beautiful prints, you know what to do. Right, links down below, naturally, as with everything here. Next, we've got news from Reverend Zemi, or Zememi Jehuti, the author of the Book of Flesh and Feather, whose work is going to be featured at the Cabinet of the Solar Plexus, alongside many other very well-loved names such as Michael Berthiaud, which I was talking about just a couple of weeks ago, Denis Forcas, and many others, and Zememi Jehuti was actually saying that he was very excited to be featured alongside these other contemporary artists, but what he hadn't realized was that alongside all of these artists would also be some really great names of the genre. So Austin Osman Spare, whom I was talking about just a couple of minutes ago, is going to be featured, as well as Leonora Carrington and many other great names. So that's going to be the 24th of March to the 23rd of April, and it's in Ireland, in Dublin, at the Gallery X. You can find out more, presumably, at their Facebook and Instagram pages. Right, moving on to news from Watkins Books, who have just let us know that they have a stash of the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination. Just reading their description here of the William Blake Tarot, with the 23 archetypal cards called Triumphs, together with a set of 56 creative process cards in 4 suits named Painting, Science, Music, and Poetry, which are Blake's 4 primal expressions of divine imagination. I think that's a really nice idea. I think that could be a really lovely idea for a concept for a tarot, right? And you can get it directly through the Watkins Books website. They ship worldwide, of course, and the price is very reasonable for what looks like a very lovely edition. There we go. Moving on to more tarot news. Actually, this is one that really caught my eye this week, and it's the Wisdom's Chariot Tarot, a very alchemically and hermetically inspired tarot. Some really beautiful artwork there. Let me just zoom in a little bit. It loses a little bit of sharpness when you zoom in, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of the style of artwork that you can expect here. It just looks so nice, so nice. That's just lovely, lovely stuff. Yeah, if you like your hermeticism, if you like your alchemy, then this is probably doing for you what it's doing for me right now. Very nice, very beautiful stuff. Great. All right. This is a nice thing that I found. I was looking for a Yad stick. Yad stick is traditionally it's a stick that is used with a silver pointing finger at the end, which is used for reading the Torah. And as you can see on the picture here, it's what it's being used for right here. But I just thought this one was so beautiful, made of olive wood, which seems to have been taken from Jerusalem. It looks just really, really nice, and I personally feel like I could definitely use this for whatever sacred text I was currently using. I mean, in itself, it's not a holy object. It's just a way of making sure that the oils from your finger aren't actually touching this sacred text, right? So I was reading some texts over the past few weeks and thinking to myself, I could do with a pointer, for actually, pointing to exactly where I'm reading. Sometimes the texts that I'm reading just make me think a lot, right? And so it's very often happens that I just go off into thinking about what I've just read, and it might take me a bit of time to work out where I was. So if I actually had a pointer, that'd be nice, but I just don't want to be putting my fingers on the text itself. It just feels wrong. So a yad just makes sense, right? I mean, clearly somebody had an idea of making a yad originally and probably had the same feelings as I was experiencing, which is why I was looking for a yad. Anyway, the majority of the yads that I found were quite small, and made of silver and quite expensive. I just thought this one was absolutely gorgeous, really, really beautiful. I'm showing it to you now, so probably one of you will pick it up. I don't have the pocket for it right now, but I thought that maybe you'd like to see it, and maybe one of you might be interested in picking it up. It looks very, very cool. In fact, it seems, if I remember correctly, it's not a one-off, because you can get your name engraved in Hebrew letters there. So yeah, you can I'll take that back. Go ahead and order to your heart's content. There we go. If you have the funds, of course, naturally. There we go. Right, Boleskine House is still looking for funds, right? They're edging closer and closer. They're currently looking for funds for raising the roof. For those of you who don't know the Boleskine House, it's the house where Aleister Crowley performed his Abramelin ritual, which apparently went not so well, but this house has got so much history behind it. The thing is, because Aleister Crowley is associated with it, it keeps getting attacked by people who hate Aleister Crowley, and it's been burnt to cinders regularly. So they're looking for an additional £20,000 from what I can see here, or £19,000. They're nearly at £7,000 from a £26,000 goal. If you have any spare cash, and this is a cause that is close to your heart, then, well, now you know about it. There we go. Moving on to so this is the last part of my segment. I didn't actually scroll all the way back up. Sorry about that. Very unprofessional of me. Overisles is my game of the week. It's not a board game. It's a tabletop RPG, a role-playing game, right? And I loved the concept here, because the idea is that it teaches you sign language as you play. Sign language is a part of the role-playing game. I love that concept. I think it's great, and it's set above the clouds in a Arthurian Celtic setting. How lovely is that? And it's directly involving the Fae. So yeah, the inspiration apparently were works such as The Never-Ending Story and Labyrinth and so on. And yeah, apparently it's accessible to to a wide range of ages, should I say. And the idea of incorporating an actual world skill in the gameplay, I think that's absolutely fantastic. You know, as the father of a child with special needs, this is quite close to my heart. This is very, very cool. Yeah, and looking at the artwork, it looks so nice. Yeah, clearly a lot of effort has been put into this. Apparently, it was developed over a 10-year period of working with people with hearing difficulties and who enjoyed role-playing games and really like the idea here, really like the concept. It's already funded by a long way, if I remember correctly. Yeah, by a long way. There we go. So no risk of that not funding. You can probably start looking at the stretch goals as well. It's very reasonable as well. You can get the PDF for £15. So of course that's quite cool because you've got no shipping involved there. There we are. That's my news for this week. Thank you ever so much, as always, for joining me once again. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It always helps the channel. And to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. And yeah, leave me a comment. Is there anything that I've missed out this week? Is there anything that I really need to look into for next week? And yeah, see you very soon with another video. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching again. Bye-bye.